Good. A very good evening to you and welcome to East End Park, Dunfermline. Now exactly 2 weeks ago, when news filtered through to the Winter Olympics in Calgary that Dunfermline had knocked Rangers out of the Scottish Cup, the Rangers supporters over in Canada, of whom there are many, greeted the whole result with incredulity. How, they asked me, could a team like Dunfermline knock an expensively assembled side like Rangers out of the Scottish Cup? Well, the profoundest answer I could come up with was, that's football. Well, Rangers were here again this afternoon, and I'm sure the most used word in that dressing room just to my side before Rangers ran out onto the pitch was revenge.
And there's a man who might have to face up to the full wrath of it. His name is Hans Seegers. He's 5 feet 11, he's 26 years of age, and he was side of the night from Nottingham Forest, and he's Dutch and probably recalls that old Dutch fable about a little boy who put his finger in the dike to stem the flood. That's maybe going through his mind at this moment. And there's a full Dunfermline side with 5 changes from the team which knocked Rangers out of the Cup 2 weeks ago. There's Ian Ferguson, used to see him in black and white. Remember that marvellous goal he scored in the Scottish Cup final. He's now with Rangers' his second game. He tells me that in the first one against the United, he found the pace much faster than when he played with St Mirren. Full Rangers side, and Graham Souness has relegated himself to the dugout. He's not even a sub. And of course, with John Brown suspended at the moment, Nisbet comes in at full back. There's a referee from Edinburgh, Jim McGilvery, who's just recovered from an Achilles tendon injury, which he got at Hampden Park on the 2nd of January. Well, Rangers starting the game on a pitch which was very suspect early on. There was snow over it. There's a great start by McCoy's going through the middle. Well, he's not bothered by that pitch at all. There was snow on it this morning. It is hard, and especially hard near the stand side, and a little jinky opening by Rangers there, with a good combination by the two men who used to play out front. And Ali McCoy's almost getting a final touch. Rangers getting corner. It's going to be treacherous on this side. Well, you can see that Walters and Ferguson there were going very cannily and gingerly indeed. Roberts, Rangers captain. Got a good quote out of Graham Roberts before the game. He said, "We'll beat the Romanians by 4 at Ibrox." He crossed his fingers. Ferguson, Roberts after that again. There's a neat little drive through offside. Ali McCoy's, there he is. Right, there's a line. Well, there's Ali McCoy's, and if the cameraman just slightly pans down, we'll see something of a miracle. He had an operation last week, and he was able to play, of course, in Romania. He didn't get the lasers that some people were talking about, but it was very good surgery indeed. Watson, and that is a very useful ball. Durant, not an easy one to take on this surface. It's again a towering ball. There's Walters. Wilkins. Very delicate judgment. Walters. For the first time in the game, the Dutchman getting a very close look at the ball. I think a goalkeeper enjoys that if he's feeling a little bit apprehensive, getting up underneath it. Bartram. A poised One turned by McCoy's penalty kick. Yes, he gets a penalty out of that. There's no complaint from the Dunfermline players. Now McCoy's is very good at this turning on a sixpence, which is exactly what you're seeing now. Down he went, and the referee almost casually pointed to the spot. So the Dutchman is now up against his first real test against a gentleman who's just had microsurgery. Football does produce its bizarre moments. Yes, there was always going to be a goal out of that. He strode up to it confidently. And the Dutchman had absolutely no chance. Dispatched with the greatest confidence. So we've only gone 4 minutes, and that very confident penalty by Ali McCoy puts Rangers on the right trail. That's Watson, as I said. He's always dangerous in the box like that. There he is. Ginger locks, about the same colour as mine, but 50 times more, I may say. Ferguson following up. Smith took that brilliantly. That's a free kick. And the pace of Mark Smith really disturbing Rangers again. He was very sharp, getting in, winning possession, and then quite rightly deciding to make tracks for the Rangers goal, and unceremoniously brought down in what should be a very good position for Dunfermline, the kind they really ought to exploit. Man in form, and he wants to be totally in charge in this penalty area. Oh, just very good effort indeed by Morrison. And as I said, he wanted to be in charge, and eventually he was. That's a good eye, and that instinctive punch ensuring his goal safety. A little bit wide. Rangers again looking vulnerable right in the middle of the penalty area. Axel Smith, it's a brilliant ball. Smith picking it up superbly well, and he goes all off it. Now that is exactly how to utilize this man. Push it behind the fullback, and Bartram, who's having a very unsteady afternoon, his footing in particular bothering him, left stranded. There might even have been a possibility of a penalty if there had been a commitment to a tackle, but it all came off the side of the foot. Elbow was up by Walters, a very awkward challenge in the air. Free kick to Dunfermline. Nice little touch there by Watson. There's Walters. Ferguson seemed to run away from it. McCarthy wants to come forward. Bartram, McCarthy. Just touched away, must be. No. How did he miss it? And it's still not in. Oh dear, you cannot spun chances like that. Well, if Jim Leesman's at home watching this at this time of the evening, I'm sure his blood pressure will go up watching these chances spun. They build it up very well, coming from McCarthy. And the players in knots, Rangers defence in knots. Dunfermline certainly deserved the equaliser there. Now, Ferguson. Beautiful play there. Gives it away, spoils it all. This time, Durant is onside, and the ball really had to be chipped. John Holt, calling on his great experience, blocking the path. There's Ferguson. And it goes Ferguson. Did very well, Ian Ferguson this time. Flipped away by Robertson. There's a goal, that's a great goal. Oh, he took that so well. I mean, he made it look ridiculously simple, but he had only a fraction of the time to get his balance, get his poise, and find it, you know, that little channel to get it away from the goalkeeper, which he did superbly well. 2-0, 5 minutes from half-time. Well, you can see the great asset that Walters is. I mean, he makes something out of nothing. I think he's already proved that since joining Rangers. That may not have been the most spectacular goal you'll ever see, but it was intelligent. And the finishing, as I say, was superb. Free kick to Dunfermline. Break here by Rangers with Durant. Here's Ferguson on the run. Ian Ferguson. And it goes. Wilkins on the edge of the box. Here's Durant. Ferguson. Almost in. And Rangers, who had been going through what you might call a mediocre phase, look as if they've bust alive again. Intelligent play again by Durant, and the new signing Ian Ferguson, just about a couple of feet away from that. So it's a bit slow there, Ferguson driving in. There's Durant. Wilkins picking up a lot for Rangers now, little bits and pieces. Now he's laying it on. Rangers becoming more and more confident in midfield. 2 up just before half-time. There's McCoist. You can't put it through your colleague's posterior like that. Here's Nisbet. Now Ferguson with a chance. Great save by the Dutchman. Ferguson's first clear-cut chance of the match. He didn't angle it enough, and the goalkeeper doing the right thing, technically sound, narrowing the angle, and the excellent player couldn't put it away. Durant. Better run by Durant. There's Ferguson, and it's off his heel. Derek Ferguson this time. And there goes a half-time whistle. Well, Rangers certainly, for long stretches during that first half, must have been delighted they had one in the bank, as it were, with that early penalty by Alan McCoist. After having been brought down himself, he dispatched it with his traditional and customary coolness. And then a long spell in which it looked as if Dunfermline might come rattling back into the game. 1 or 2 let-offs for Rangers, and then a quite scintillating goal by Walters, and we're coming so used to this man doing it, pulling it out of the bag, as he did again, and that takes an enormous load off Rangers, and they must go in now a much more relaxed team. Well, off we go into the second half. I must say Dunfermline have an excellent support. They're 2-0 down. They're fighting for survival in the Premier Division, and the supporters greeted them as if they'd won the cup final, and that's what they'll need for the rest of the season, in spirit shown like Graham Robertson, in other words, get on with it. Doesn't matter with 2 down. Free kick. Neatly judged, and Nisbet just getting the touch, and I think that'll be a corner kick. And almost the death of 2 photographers. Well, Dunfermline want to get back into this game. A good strike at the start would help enormously. There's Roberts judging that well. Durant. Durant has been playing a very wide role on the right. John Watson. Just a bit too much of that, and Wilkins comes in. Now Walters. Too much. Good fighting, rousing start again here by Dunfermline. Badly need a good start and a quick goal, and they're not going to get it out of that. Stripped there by Stephen Morrison. Nisbet with it. Well, nobody challenging for Rangers in front of the penalty area. Now, that was Mark Smith. Now, he's been left on his own up front when Dunfermline are guarding the penalty area, and he has the legs to beat anybody in this Rangers defence. Ferguson, I thought, was nudged. So does he. Good interchange there, and there is Ali McCoyce on his own. He did very well to get that shot in, but he could also have laid it back to Ray Wilkins. Watson. And Barton should have that covered. Yes, I think he did the right thing because he had Robertson coming up just inside him. Craig Robertson this time. Durant did the right thing again. Ferguson got the neatest of touches. Little ball inside to McCoy, and he couldn't finish it. And really, that's a sort he ought to kill. Shows you the value of Ferguson there. He very quickly saw the freedom that McCoy's had in the penalty area. There's a substitution. This is Stuart Beattie you're looking at. Ex-Dundee United. David Irons is off. Well, the referee right, that was purely accidental. We're driving in there, Ferguson trying to go in. He's been given very little leeway. He's well known, of course, from his days with St Mirren about being very dangerous coming forward, so Dunfermline. Not virtually, but marked him almost out of the game. Here's Ali McCoist. Wow. Seegers did very well to get up there. There's McCoist. Looking for the shot. There's Durant. Offside, though. Yes. Out came the defence. Neat little touch by Ali McCoist in the first place, but you can see that Durant amply offside. I don't know, those of you with long memories can think way back to Partick Thistle days to when a certain gentleman called George Smith played in the wing, while this is his son, Trevor. Durant just getting a touch out of a Coist. A little bit too much, Stuart Beattie. Well, look at that acceleration. Great piece of play by Beattie. There's John Watson with a chance. And put off by Bartram. And I think the referee is going to have a word with Nisbet. For that challenge, and it was a great piece of play by Beattie. On as a substitute, fresh legs, leaving the Rangers defenders standing in an exquisite ball into the middle. And good defending by Bartram. It was he who really put Watson off. And there's Jim Leishman doing his managerial bit. You would, that's a false impression, by the way. He's one of the nicest men you could wish to meet anywhere. McCarthy covering. Stuart McCarthy has given Ferguson really nothing this afternoon. Ian Ferguson, that is. 11 minutes left. Rangers coasting 2-0, but Dunfermline realising it's not totally hopeless. Rangers defence thought there was offside. Oh, there's too much there, and the goalkeeper. Oh. Stuart Beattie, the sub. Well, you can't blame him for that. That was really a very awkward ball to take, and I think Chris Woods in goal might put that down, not to so much to technically sound goalkeeping, but a large slice of luck. It's a good ball to Wilkins. Ferguson was screaming for it. And Walters does very well. Here's Durant coming in. Oh, just off the line. Oh, that's a very good move. Originating from Ian Durant there. That pass in midfield. Wilkins might well have put it back towards him, choosing Walters, who did extremely well. Looked as if the possession was with the Dunfermline defence, and then up came Durant. Couldn't put it away. Bartram brought that down beautifully. Ferguson. Cooper fighting very hard for it. The referee says it's a throw. Try the cross this time. Walters back with a Durant up. And that's a throw. Durant. 6 minutes left. Walters. Well, there by Durant. Needs a chip across. That's it. It was Richard Goff who finished it off. You'll pardon the rhyme. 3-0 for Rangers. With just over 6 minutes of the game remaining. Well taken. Well, Rangers have been pressing and pressing and pressing without looking dangerous. And then when Walters begins to vary his position, wander about a bit, combining with Durant and Rangers' big central defender who does this so often, finishing that off and killing the game stone dead.
Well, that's Richard Goff for you, not just an excellent defender, either central or right back, but an auxiliary attacker, giving Rangers the third goal. And oh yes, I suppose you could say at the end of the day that Rangers won very comfortably, although there were spells in that first half when Dunfermline could quite easily have scored. They spun the chances, but Rangers really took command in the second half, where some of their midfield play was quite delightful. Again, they found it difficult to convert it into goals, but I thought Ian Ferguson is obviously feeling his way into this Rangers side, where obviously games are different from the games he was used to with St Mirren. That didn't quite come off for him up front. He had one or two chances, but I'm sure he'll get there in the end. But what about that start by Rangers? It's always very valuable when playing away from home, and you get that. And the man at the centre of it, of course, was Ali McCoist. And after the game, I spoke to him and asked him about this miraculous operation that he had.
Well, I was in the hospital on Tuesday. The operation, excuse me, was at 5 o'clock, and I left the following morning at 8:30, 9:15.
Now, somebody said something about laser beam operation, but apparently that wasn't so. It was a straightforward microsurgery.
Yeah, it was microsurgery where they took 2/5 of my cartilage out, which had a small nick in it from 3 years ago, and a more recent one, the replay of the match against Wraith Rovers. And it was another injury, so they just whipped 2/5 of it out.
Yeah, didn't find any old studs in there, did they?
No, they didn't, no.
Now, was it really up to yourself? I mean, did you get a medical clearance, or was it you and Tally who would decide whether you would play in Romania or not?
Well, obviously, I had to get a medical clearance but the doc gave me the thumbs up. But at the end of the day, the decision was mine, as therefore, first and foremost, it's my knee. And if I was going to do any damage, I'd like to have the final decision on it.
Pretty sharp today. I mean, I don't think there's any dispute that was a penalty kick. The Dunfermline players didn't protest. Did you feel good?
I felt quite good the first half. I felt reasonably sharp, but I must admit, I think my legs went a little bit in the second half.
Not too surprising?
Not too surprising, no. With a tough game on Wednesday, and I felt a little jaded the second half, but I was quite pleased with the initial first half.
You took your penalty kick fairly confident?
Yeah, I was reasonably pleased. It was important, especially as Dunfermline put us out of the cup, it was important that we did get off to a good start, and I was just pleased to see the ball hit the back of the net.
Now, we observed one of these goals today, Ali, that looked so ridiculously simple, but when you look at it again, it was a superb goal. That was the second goal by Walters.
Yeah, we were talking about it after the game. It was a great strike because I think he hit it in the half volley and he just kept it down, and it was a perfect strike, and the goalkeeper was always struggling. It was a magnificent hit of the ball. He's
very good in a tight area like that.
Yeah, it's great. He's got great feet mark, and he just, you know, as I say, you give him a wee half chance and he always hits the target.
Were you worried about Dunfermline coming back at all at any stage in the match?
Well, I must admit, we felt we kept it tight for the start of the second half, and we knew they'd come at us, but we kept it tight and hit them in the break, and we got the third goal, which was quite pleasing.
And you normally get Richard Gough coming up trying to score anyway, and he made it this time.
That's right, Richard, we kid him on a lot about his wanderings up the park, but this one he took full benefit of it, and it was a great goal, a great ball, I think, from Ian Durant.
Yeah.
And